So what's going on there, Battlefielders? Hopefully you guys are having a great evening. I am here to make a video, a speculation video, if you will. I want to kind of try to predict what is going to come from this November update. We know there's a major update coming in November, according to DICE. And it's supposed to be containing all kinds of different tweaks and balance issues and everything like this. So some of these are going to be pretty obvious. Maybe I missed one or two, and if I do, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. But basically, I want to anticipate everything that's going to happen, and if possible, maybe even predict how they're going to fix these things. So let's start off with the two obvious ones, and these are big primary weapon balance issues. This is the Automatica, which is ridiculous. There's no real counter to this gun. The only thing that can even beat it is the other strongest weapon in the game right now, and that's the Model 10. More importantly, the variant Hunter. And these are absolutely ridiculous. Personally, I don't even know how you could balance the Automatica. Maybe a little bit of a damage drop-off, so it requires an extra bullet or two, but it's still just such a dominant, easy-to-use force. And that is also one of the major issues on balancing shotguns. They're probably going to have to restrict their range, again, severely damaging the drop-off, because these things, holy hell, I don't know why they don't have like a 4x scope on them. It's pretty freaking strong. Now, that is pretty much how I expect them to balance things like the Model 10, but the shotguns across the board, the issue with shotguns is they're just so easy to use. They don't really require you to be accurate. You don't have to consistently land consecutive shots over and over and over again to kill a target. You just point and shoot, or don't even have to aim and shoot. Just look in the general direction and push a button and successfully get a kill. That is just too easy for people to use. It can't be as strong as it is with range, or it's going to cripple the entire meta. And that's exactly what it's doing right now. Now, putting that aside, I feel like the support class as a whole kind of needs a buff somewhere. Now, I don't think they need a damage buff. I feel like all of those numbers are right in the right place, but as many of you guys will know, a lot of those guns are underperforming, and for fully automatic weapons, this is a very dangerous path for them to take, because if they make them better and more accurate and really strong, then people are going to follow to those weapons, again, for the simple fact that they are easier to use. An automatic weapon versus a semi-automatic weapon, you're going to have a lot of people migrate to support just because it's easier to kill with those guns. So it's a very dangerous territory to mess around with, and if they do it right, they'll probably slightly tweak the recoil, or make it so those longer range shots where you hold down the trigger are more accurate than they currently are, because I still personally prefer to burst fire. I feel like it's still more reliable in medium and long range. The whole consistent fire, holding down the trigger and the gun becomes more accurate over time, I don't even notice it. And I don't know if it's just me or what. I feel like it needs to be more recognizable. It needs to be more accurate. It doesn't need to be a laser, but you want to make sure the shots are at least scattered around center mass. Then, we're going to dance over to the next one right here. This is gas grenades. Now, I don't know how I feel about this one. I do know that they are overwhelming, and I feel like most people want to see the reduction on these just because they're everywhere. I personally don't mind them that much. It's a simple solution. You put on a mask, and you just carry about your day. I don't feel like they're used as tactically as they should have. I feel like people just throw them in general directions, and you've got to deal with them. They are a little overwhelming with the amount, but they're not that destructive. They just change the way that you have to fight in the area, and, I mean, I die from them here and there. It's just, you know, I'd rather run into those than frag grenades, because frag grenades can just blow your shit up. So, yeah, I feel like they're fine, but a lot of people feel like there's just too many of them, and it's not fair that people can get 2 grenades with them. I don't know. Do you think they're going to reduce it? Maybe the size and radius of the fog, or maybe reduce the amount of them that you have? I honestly would predict that they're going to do nothing to gas grenades, though a lot of people think they will. I don't know. Let me know down in the comment section. Do you think they're going to tweak them at all? Then, we have behemoths. Some maps you can't even really honestly defend against them. You'll note like Suez and a few others. They're just overwhelming. There's no real lines of sight to take them on. Some of them don't have aerial assists, which are some of the strongest ways to take them down effectively. You guys know my stance on behemoths. I don't think they should be in the game because they're not fair. One team gets it, and that's the losing team, which means it punishes the winning team. And I'm not talking about, oh, well, the losing team has a chance to get back in the fight. Rarely does it actually turn the tide and allow victory. But the winning team should not be punished because of this. Every time a behemoth is spawned on the enemy team, I'm going to die from it at least one, if not a few times. A few deaths that should not have happened in the first place because I can't defend myself against them. So behemoths are just too strong of a presence right now and are just not balanced, because of the fact that they're super spongy and they last forever. Rarely does a team come together and take it out in even a few minutes, so it usually lasts a good portion of time. I feel like they're going to really nerf the health. I'm going to say they go as far as to half the health, and I feel like that would be okay in my mind. That would be reasonable. Next, sweet spots. Another thing I'm not really a fan of, I don't like anything being easier for people, especially sniping. That's not a healthy thing to add to a video game. But if they're here, I feel like some of them have a very large window to have the sweet spot. We're talking 40, 50 meters. Like the Martini, I believe, is between 30 meters and 80 meters. That's a 50-meter gap. That is a one-shot. And that is a little too gracious. So I feel like some of these may be tweaked and brought back to the 20 to 30 area. Anything beyond that is a little overkill and too nice, honestly. It's too much of a handicap and window for them to do ridiculous things. If it was much smaller and more compact, then people would have to really learn the limitations of that gun and perfect it. It would be a lot harder to use, but beneficial for those that take the time to understand it. Next on my list, oh god, this one's crazy. Yes, they need to nerf the Calibri. This thing is ridiculous. It's so strong that it's completely shadowing out the rest of the options out there. What about the more underestimated and unseen weapons? It's not fair. I want to see some Mars Automatic in the mix. The Calibri is just too strong. It needs fixed. Honestly, DICE, this is an embarrassing thing. So, moving over to the final one, and this is Cavalry. And I'm very passionate about this one. And it's not necessarily that the kit is too strong. It's a really interesting kit. It's just that they have way too much health. I legitimately feel like these are just as much a threat as like a Flame Trooper or a Sentry, and I feel like they should be worth that extra 200 points too if they're going to keep them built how they honestly are right now. I do feel like they should, and this is going to sound like a weird kind of nerf slash buff, I don't know what this is, but add more decoration to the Cavalry. It's so hard to distinguish between a basic infantry and the Cavalry. So many times I'm in even close quarters and I start shooting at the guy and then I realize, like, why is he not dead? And then I look at the numbers and okay, I've only done 30 damage, and then I realize he's got the chest piece, and then I'm like, oh shit, that's Cavalry. And then I'm dead. Because in a heads-up fight, infantry is not going to beat Cavalry. But it's so hard to realize. If I would have known sooner, I would have been able to go, run in there, and maybe take a risky chance with a bayonet or something. So that's how I feel. Cavalry is still a little overwhelming at the current moment, but I don't know. I feel like with a couple slight little tweaks, they can make that fall in line with some of the other threats out there, so that they're not so as dangerous as some of the map pickups. But that's all I've got for you today, guys. So thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, because when the update does hit, I will be breaking it down bit by bit, letting you guys know exactly what is changing in the Battlefield universe. So thank you guys. Leave a thumbs up if you found the video useful, and I'll catch you with another Battlefield video tomorrow.